Hello, this is ProbableLoss, and I'm going to bring you, this will be game actually 15, not just game 14. I am actually going to be casting 16 games. I don't know if I'll get around to casting the very last game. The last game is actually really long, but it is the game that I'm actually looking forward to casting the most, just because it should be pretty interesting. I guess I shouldn't ruin it. But this is going to be a PvT. I have cast very few Terran games, so I'm excited to see a PvT. It is going to be between the blue Terran HBlitchiz on the left side and the red Zerg yourself on the right side. So I'm just hoping this is an exciting game. Yourself, I feel bad for taking so long to cast your game. He's probably actually one of the most active people in my forum thread saying that he wants his video cast, and I think that a good number of the others who actually submitted videos have forgotten by now. But that's okay, because I'm just a wee little lad. And another thing I want to say before I start to actually talk about this game, hopefully nothing that exciting happens for a while, before I want to say anything else. I said that twice. I want to say that first. I want to acknowledge that I said that twice and that I'm making little to no sense with what I'm saying. So, third time's the charm. What I wanted to say was, I am using Fraps, not for this video, but I have used it, and much to my dismay, I have discovered that Fraps only runs for about 30 seconds if you have the free version. So I might try to do something like collect donations, if that would be okay. I definitely want to wait until I get videos with more views than 50, because that's just asking a lot. Fact is, I have no money, and all of my money will be going to college and that sort of deal. And I would definitely be willing eventually to throw in money for Fraps if I like obtain it myself, but I don't know. A lot of casters just, you know, collect donations and stuff. I thought if I somehow get a good number of views that I would try that myself. But now with that over, and me being a selfish capitalist piggy, I'm gonna get back into the game. So we can see HBlitchiz. He's throwing down 3 racks all at once. I guess he is extremely, extremely concerned about any sort of cheese ever, even though it is 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and anything that would come at this point probably wouldn't be considered cheese. But he's got nothing to worry about, because yourself has a hatchery of his own up, and it doesn't look like he's going to be doing anything too crazy. He is getting metabolic boost, so I'll be curious to see if he actually builds Zerglings to follow up anything with that. So HBlitz going the classic 4 racks wall-in on Antigua Shipyard. It's so standard that it's just not standard at all. Normally you'll see like a bunker or 2 and then some siege tanks. But yeah, not too sure what this is, because he's going to have to manually lift these off and then plant them back down to get in. Oh, wait. There's a gap right here. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for him. If yourself goes for some sort of baneling bust, then it could be bad for him. But it looks like yourself is just going to be doing a few drone waves. It's really interesting to watch this sort of macro style play out, because it is one of the few times where you'll see another race keep you know, in step with a Zerg as far as collection goes. So yeah, just because he has this expansion up, I think his command center actually finished at about the same time yourself's hatchery finished, so that was a very aggressive expansion and a pretty big risk. But because yourself didn't try to deny it or anything, he's gonna be looking pretty good as far as economy goes. Where did he fly that? He flew that other barracks and put a tech lab on up there. Actually, I really like that. I like what he did right there with the engineering bay. What I don't like is that now that means the engineering bay is right here. So yourself can snipe tech if he wants to. It will be difficult and it might make some suicide of units, but if something like a counterattack happens where all of these Marines are across the map and yourself can't deal with it head on, he might send a counterattack. Those are actually becoming very popular. Might just counterattack, cut off some tech, because what players will do is they'll wait till tech's almost done, they'll move out across the map, and then as soon as that tech is functioning, they'll actually move out into the base. So I would imagine HBlitchiz is just going to sit at the Zelnaga and wait until this tech finishes and this tech finishes. And then when it finishes, he might actually push out for reals. I could be wrong. If he pushes out right now, he could find a pretty good timing. Well, his timing window is kind of already passed. I think yourself overreacted to what he saw. It would not take that many Zerglings to kill that, especially with this spine crawler, if he engages where he needs to engage. This right here, that would have been a problem. I think the correct response there would have been to build another spine crawler instead of spawning a huge wave of Zerglings, unless you are planning on using those Zerglings for something. Because he knows that HBlitchiz has made pretty much nothing but that command center, so he's still going to be kind of slow with his actual units themselves, but that he's going to start being able to pump them out. So that timing would have been a little bit early for his economy to start kicking in. But now that economy is really going to start kicking in, and we will see floods of units from both players. Looking at the income tab, yourself has finally taken the lead, but is it a supply deficit, which is, as anyone will tell you who plays Zerg, is very uncomfortable. Especially when you're going to be down in tech as well. If we check the production tab, yourself has just now started to work on the 1-1, but I believe HBlitchiz already has a 0-1 upgrade. Yeah, 0-1. So he has that attack damage upgrade and is working on the armor. And the timing should be almost identical here. Yourself will be at a tech advantage for just a few seconds. These Marines have no combat shield, so that is actually a pretty big disadvantage for those Marines. He is going to go ahead and grab that combat shields just to make sure those Marines are not sad little puppies that just die immediately, because no one wants sad little puppies that die, because puppies are adorable. And HBlitchiz, he looks content to just, you know, sit right there. And we have a drop right here cleaning up that hatchery, or yeah, cleaning up that hatchery. Probably going to move on to the main base. He probably shouldn't have revealed that drop quite yet, because yeah, now yourself stationing Lings up here to deal with any sort of drop that does come. Yourself opting to go for Mutalisks with upgrades, which is a very interesting choice. Gets a ton of Banelings out. I would Muta Bling Ling can be very powerful. Marines with Medevac. What are the Zerglings doing? A huge misclick there, actually attacking his own hatch. These Banelings are going to roll in, and if he doesn't pick up Marines, they will die. Wow. Needs to snipe the spawning pool. He snipes the spawning pool. That was a huge move. Those Banelings, they bust. And they bust good. And they clean up that drop. Not very efficiently. Units lost. Yeah, yourself lost way more units than HBlitchiz did on that one little engagement right there. More Banelings coming out. Here we have some Marines. They're chilling at the watchtower, making sure that there is no watching for the Zerg player, I guess. And another drop up here with only 4 Marines. Brings in a slow little trickle of Marines, and 2 Baneling hits will finish off those Marines. Don't know if you really wanted to detonate 2 of those Banelings, but it was needed. But now that there's all of these Mutalisks, any sort of drop play is going to be extremely risky. Simply because, oh man, I am sorry that that happened. Simply because those Mutalisks can't pick off the Medevac so efficiently, and That's what just happened up there. Picked off the medevac. HBlitchiz is looking like he's going to move out here. Not entirely sure what his plan is going to be. One thing that I want to note is HBlitchiz has better hotkey set up. Has army hotkey, barracks hotkey, medevac's hotkey, and yourself only has his 3 hatches hotkeyed and 1 single drone. Not sure what that drone is, but he looks like he's probably going to be a hero, and this drop will definitely get picked off. Tries to drop some of the Marines, but that is not going to help them at all. These Marines stim and actually pick off a lot of... Oh! Makes up for losing that drop entirely. That was probably actually a bad encounter for yourself. I mean, he stopped the drop, but at what cost? Should have just flown straight back to his base. I thought that that would have been a wasted stim, which is actually dealing even more damage to HBlitchiz's army than what he did just losing that drop. But no, that was not a wasted stim. Definitely worth it. This hatchery is probably going to get denied. I don't see any way that yourself can save it. Needs to get the cancel. Gets the cancel. Spawns a ton of banelings. There are only... Whoa, where'd the army go? There are only 4 siege tanks with this entire composition, so a few good baneling hits will demolish this pretty well. Although, where is he getting those? Does he have 2 factories? He does have 2 factories pumping out constant siege tanks now, getting out 2 Thor actually. And you can see that his macro is starting to slip. I was going to say that he actually has good macro, but he does have units queued up pretty heavily. Especially in those 2 Thor and those siege tanks. But I think unwisely HBlitchiz is choosing not to attack right now. If nothing else, he needs to come up here and clean up some of this creep. Or try to clean up some of this creep, set up a contain on the outside. It should be relatively easy. Yourself actually has a very small army. And, yourself engages at an awful angle, but HBlitchiz gets sort of unlucky in the fact that he is not sieged up, and these banelings are just going to keep chasing the Marines, and... Oh... Most of the banelings damage that was dealt to the mech units, but I don't think it mattered. There were just so many banelings that it hurt him regardless. So now it's going to come down to, can HBlitchiz split up his Marines well enough to make sure that the Mutalisks, or not the Mutalisks, the banelings are not doing tons of damage. The splits are actually pretty good, but over stims, and that's going to mean that one baneling can be the death of lots of units. And that is indeed what it means. Cleans up the rest of that, and is going to move out with a big flock of Mutalisks that have a 1 attack upgrade. These are the fights that I like, because 1 Marine can almost beat 1 Mutalisk. And getting gibbed horribly by that Thor. He needs to stop Mutalisk production, needs to move on to some other type of tech. You really, unless you can do that to an individual Thor every few seconds, it is not worth it to build Mutalisk while there's Thor on the field. He is just losing those Mutalisks like crazy. Oh man, what are you up to, sir? Ooh. 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 But not spawning any Ultralisks yet. Where are those? Oh! 8 Ultralisks. I could not be any happier. I love to see Zerg players go Ultralisks over Broodlords. No, I didn't even get to see the Ultralisks. And HBlitchiz doesn't even say good game, and he also denies me the pleasure of seeing Ultralisks. So that is just upsetting to me. I don't see how one person could... I don't know what I did to him. I must have pissed him off at some point. amazingly, yourself was more cost-effective than HBlitchiz! And I think what it came down to was this right here. The units, or the resources. Because, as I showed you, there were like 2 Thor queued up here, and 2 Thor queued up here, and then 2 siege tanks, and then 2 siege tanks. Which means that he was not spending efficiently, which means that if he was spending, had he been spending efficiently, would have been able to march up here earlier. And that would have been a lot more devastating than it was the first time, because the first time it wasn't devastating at all. They met right here. So, pretty good game there. Really wish I would have seen the Ultralisks, but it was sort of over at this point. So, good game to both players, even though HBlitchiz refused to say good game. And, hopefully next game I cast will be soon. And later, hopefully I'm using Fraps to cast, because that would be awesome. But, with that, I'm out. See ya.